Hi.
Hi everyone, can everyone hear me? Hey! You guys in the back?
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space, coming closer for a taste. And I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.
The Klayre Avalon show, you motherfucker.
Yes. Good evening, one and all. Whatever you happen to be. For some reason, I've decided to give you a little bit of Michael Caine for some fucked up reason. I don't fucking know. But I know you know who Michael Caine is. Everybody knows who Michael Caine. Anyway, yeah, I moved my fucking mic, and it's fine, but this little thing at the end that actually holds the mic, not the boom, but the little holder at the end of it, right, that you put the mic in, is all swiveling around and stuff, and I don't know why. It's swiveling around and shit, and I don't know what. There's a little shitty Robin Leach for you. I have to get a star screwdriver and see what I can do about tightening that little fucker. That's new. Oh well, fucking thing works. So yeah. Now it's not fucking hanging off the backrest of my dining room chair. Oh, that's wonderful. That's fucking wonderful. How did that happen? What? All right, spelled the title of my own fucking show wrong. Lovely. Anyway, yeah, I would have been here sooner, but I just spent the last 10 or 15 minutes not trying to be here, but just trying to piece together some fucking music. And shit just ain't going right tonight. as you're probably aware, in crappy weather, shit can either happen or not happen, right? And in this case, it was not happening. Because it is, it's fucking gross in Toronto tonight. It's not cold. We are just under a lot of rain right now. A lot of fucking rain. So, I'm not saying the power's going to go out or anything. That's not it. That's not it. See, what can I tell you? What can I tell you before we really get the fuck into it? What's going on? Her name is Rio and she dances on the sun. Rihanna's in the room. Good evening. Yeah, late show tonight, Ree. I didn't mean to be this late, but fuck. Oh well. Yeah, what has crossed my path? I just got off work this morning, so I'm off until Monday. I start work. I start days on Monday at work. And yeah, I keep thinking of the fact that I spelled my own title wrong today. I don't know what fears you are, but we're going to be talking about irrational fears. We may or may not bleed, and we are. I should say before we go anywhere with this that I am not, nor have I ever been, an ologist of any sort. I am not officially, I do not have any official mental health diagnoses, nothing under that umbrella. No healthcare professional has ever, mental health healthcare professional has ever looked at me and said, you have this. I have never been on any medications for my mental well-being. But all that to say, we all know when we've experienced things, right? That's why the phrase exists. That's why the phrase, I am undiagnosed such and such exists. Because you can figure shit out, right? So yes, all that to say, this evening, and I don't even know why I'm compelled, I guess, for want of a better word, to do this. But tonight we gonna go into two things. But in my case, they intermingle. They shake hands because of something that happened to me when I was a kid. We will be visiting megalophobia and mechanophobia. Along with everything else I just said a second ago about not having any mental health official diagnosis of any sort, I will also say that, you know how, like I just said, we can say we're undiagnosed this. I didn't know about these, let's say, conditions or phobias until I was told about them a few years ago. And when I was told what megalophobia is, I said, well, son of a bitch, that makes sense. And so does mechanophobia. Megalophobia is fear of large objects. And, well, yeah, I think everybody's got a little touch of FOMO. Yeah. Maybe, kind of, sort of, almost. Yeah. FOMO, fear of missing out. Yeah. But yeah, megalophobia, fear of losing out. Fear of losing objects. Yeah, I don't know what the fear of losing stuff is. But yeah, fear of large objects, and mechanophobia is fear of machines. Before we fucking dig our heels in, anybody aware that Mayday Poland is in full swing right now? I know that because Nusha was there. What kind of stuff are we... listen to this then. For us here on the SoundCloud crew, Ree is asking us, what kind of stuff are we losing? Objects or facility? Coming in with the smartness. All right then. Touche. Or no, what did Ducky say in Pretty in Pink back in the 80s? Toucher. Toocher. Was it Toocher or Toucher? Toocher. Fucking Toocher. Toocher sounds like something Jay would have said. Jay and Silent Bob. Toocher. Fucking Toocher. Snoochie boochies. Objects or facilities. Faculties. Yeah. And that's a whole different conversation. If you're losing a facility, fuck me, you better be talking to somebody. My God. I am the clit command. Whoa, you just went way above my pay grade with that one. I am the clit command. I do not recall that line. I do. Wow. Fuck me, man. So yeah, not many people around right now, but if you are seeing this on the VOD or here on SoundCloud when it gets there, not only are we going to go as one of the samples in a Bad Boy Bill mix used to say, how far are we going back? We going way back. It was a reference to the 80s. And funny enough, we are going back to the 80s tonight because that's when this happened. Going back to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yes. Love it. Fucking love it. May we, motherfucker. How old? What year would it have been when I was in grade 2? I was 7 in 1985. I know that because I was born in 78, so easy numbers. And school is in September. So if I wasn't in school by the previous year, I was, I you know what I'm saying. So easily, by 1985, I was kicking around somewhere in grade 2. I was maybe past grade 2. I'm just trying to... Yeah, I probably was past grade 2. Even though I did it 3 times. Not because I failed, but because we moved and stuff. We moved twice. So anyway, yeah, you know what I'm driving at. I was a fucking kid. To get the story out of here, out in the open, what happened was one day, for some reasons I still don't have, and I hope the music isn't overpowering me too much. For some reason, they decided to take us on a tour of the furnace room, the boiler room in my school. It was right in the middle of the school and like down, right, obviously. And the door off the hallway, you walk in the door rather. and it was, I don't know, it was up, right? However many feet off the floor. You walk onto a landing, and to your left, there was like the part, like the wall, right? And then around there went the rest of the room. It was a big, long rectangle sort of deal. And then there was like 15 or 20 steps down into the area. Noises and all that kind of fun jazz going on. We could barely hear the janitorial staff guy telling us about how things ran, because he was trying his damnedest to make himself heard over the noise of all the machinery and everything. They wouldn't let us down into the room, onto the floor. They didn't do that, so they had us all herded onto the staircase for this thing. And all I remember was, amusingly enough, hardly any of us could hear a word he was saying. We were just standing there like morons. But from down at the far end of the room that we couldn't see, and maybe this was normal, maybe it wasn't, because when it happened, janitor dude didn't react. He just kind of looked over and went, well, okay. So maybe it was just kind of a Tuesday thing for him. I don't know. Regardless, what happened was came this big, humongoid boom, like this big bang sound of some sort. And it rattled a few of us in my class. Me, most notably. Right? It fucking rattled my cage. So much so that the most of the kids stayed on the staircase and continued on with whatever the fuck the guy was talking about. But that sudden boom fried my bacon so much that my teacher had to bring me out into the hallway to quote-unquote talk me down. Right? I mean, it was fucking wild. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. And that, I mean, short, boring story, but that truly was what sparked everything we're going to talk about tonight. Did I say anything when I got home? Was there a call to home? You know, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, there was an incident at school and your kid was severely startled by this event, blah, blah, blah. And, no, fuck that. No, this was the early 80s. There was none of that. Fuck. May no, motherfucker. Oh, and by the way, if no one knows what I mean by may no, motherfucker, it's may no is but no in French. In case you don't know. I don't know your life. I know that because I live in Canada and my ex-in-laws were French. So, anyway, whatever. Mais non, mais oui, tabarnak, c'est quoi laisse? I could go on forever, but anyway. So yeah, to bastardize the whole event, at that young age, I basically lived my own private little Big Bang Theory. And it had nothing to do with science. Well, I guess it kind of did. The science of machines and stuff and how they work and how they heat things and so on and so forth. But anyway, did I notice any of the effects at that time? No. And I say that because I can remember being about 11 or 12. I know that because of where we were living, and I used to roller skate, like legit roller skate in our basement. And I don't know where you're from, but back then, some houses had these big honking furnaces in the basement with the two ducts coming up from the main like heating component, right? The main part of the furnace. And then these big ducts coming off the top of it into the ducting of your house. That's what we had at this place. Now I say that because even though this thing happened to me that day in grade 2, and I was in that basement when I was living in that house, I was in grade 3, passing through grade 4, and all that sort of idea. None of this matters to anyone who's going to hear this on the recording or SoundCloud. I'm just I'm trying to bring myself through this chronologically. So yeah, big honking furnace in the basement, water heater next to it. Incidentally, water heaters are a part also of what we're going to be talking about tonight, because they're related, right? It's all in the same little basket. So again, didn't notice any effects in those years, even though by the time I got to that house from the one I was living in when it happened had been a handful of years. I say this because when I was roller skating in that basement, and my friends and me would be down there hanging out and doing whatever, right? I don't know why, but you do stupid stuff when you're a kid. So we used to like jam ourselves between the wall, the foundation, because it was a duplex. So the wall behind the furnace, on the other side of it was the basement of the apartment next to us. So we used to. It was like what, maybe a foot of space, half a foot of space between the wall and the fucking back of the furnace. And we used to slither back between. Again, for reasons I don't know what to tell you. But regardless, it happened. And I used to figure out that you could see in the furnace by opening this little hatch thing on the side, and when the furnace was on, you could see the fucking fire inside the furnace. That was the fucking wildest thing to me. I was like, oh my god, I'm looking inside a furnace that's on. Right? So again, unaffected. I don't understand. It wasn't until, this is elementary school. I didn't start seeing the effects of that day in grade 2 until high school. Funny enough, I have no idea why. So then it started fucking happening. And time of day actually affects this too. Why? Because all these years, I can walk by a big rig or like a transport truck, right? Or a garbage truck, or a dumpster, or like an outside bin, like an industrial bin of some sort. I can be within proximity of those things in broad daylight. At night, you're not getting me within 20 feet of any of those things I just mentioned. And incidentally, I should start with the fact that once I started to realize what was going on, I made the association back to the furnace room incident, because the main focus here is leaning into mechanophobia and probably megalo as well, large objects, right? And what is a furnace? A furnace is a large object. Possibly, maybe, kind of, sort of, almost the source of this trauma that we're now talking about. Because I would say that for all intents and purposes, this was trauma, right? So yeah, later in years, started late teens-ish, started noticing that I could not come within 10, 15 feet of a furnace without, like, absolutely going into mental cardiac arrest. It absolutely a mentally crippling experience. Couldn't fucking do it and still can't. I will not do it. Glad I finished. Which one? Glad I finished that sentence. What, the crippling experience? What? Which? Sorry, I'm talking too fast for my own good here. Oh, cardiac arrest. Mental cardiac arrest. I couldn't... I couldn't come. Yeah, right. I'm suffering for 44 years. I've been a undiagnosed sufferer of PTSD due to a traumatic experience with a furnace, resulting in my inability to come. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck, buddy. Oh, man. Wild. Okay, now where was I? Oh, yeah. Being within close proximity to furnaces and water heaters. Yeah, can't fucking do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. In this juncture. No. 1,000 points a lot. Nope. Fuck that furnace. That's a really bad George Bush, for anybody wondering. I'm stealing a page out of Dana Carvey's book. So yeah, onward it went. Onward it went. Scared of furnaces. Scared of big trucks. And I'm talking like shakes, cold sweats sort of idea, right? That's where it brought me. Not non-verbal. My fellow Americans. See, I can, you know, it's funny to come away from the furnace conversation for a second, because some people I wish I could do. Speaking of sentences I should finish. I can't do some, but I can do others, because I can go down into the register the register with which they speak. Right, it's easy for me. Right. Bill Hader used to be on SNL. He went on to an acting career, and he's the only person I've ever heard do Alan Alda. Nobody does Alan Alda from MASH. I mean, fucking hell. And then you get people like Dana Carvey and stuff going into Lorne Michaels, the creator of SNL himself. He does a great Lorne Michaels. But yeah, my fellow Merkins. I can't help but say Merkins when maybe it's just because I live over here in North America. I don't know. My fellow I have to try to eliminate the when I say it. We just say America around here, or whatever the fuck it is. If we give enough of a shit. Nothing beats Robin Williams one night on a talk show. He said he was on a late night talk show, and he was comparing Canada here in Canada to the U.S. And he said Canada is like the sweet apartment over a meth lab. I had never heard a more bang-on description of the two countries that make up North America. Merkin is a female. Oh, I had to look close at that one. I thought you said public. I was going to ask you what a public wig is. I got you now. Pubic. Ew, God. Merkin is a female. What the fuck are you on about, mate? Ew. Oh, you remember how on the last show I was talking about the Bjarki, I Want to Go Bang, the track under me right now? I figured out what the other one was. It's a track called it's by Bjarki. No, it's not. It's Botnak. Sorry. And I just forgot the fucking name of it. Botnak. Jack. It's I guess it's like a prog or down tempo house track, and it's has to go. Let me show you how to jack. It's really drawn out. The vocals, really cool. Worn for nude stage appearances but I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard. So that actually exists. What the fuck? It's real. Wow. Okie dokie then. That's kind of fucking funny. That's fucking amazing. Oh. Well, I know, right? Fuck. I had a hell of a time. Oh man, that pissed me off. The music I was trying to get, I couldn't fucking get it. I tried to get a fucking Stella Bossi mix. Wouldn't fucking work. Would not cooperate with me. But the music isn't the point tonight. It's not the fucking point. Do you remember the Fantasia parties in Donington? That's the one I was telling you about. I got 40 minutes of that live. Sounds like shit because it was 1992, but you do not. Yeah, this one was uploaded to YouTube from VHS. I was like, fuck me. I love those old parties. What's the one that took place at the farm? The farmer's property there years ago. I forget what it was called. It was a whole big thing. They approached him about it to see if he would be okay with it. Because, oh, fuck, I forget what it was called now. So we're talking like early, like fucking portable video cameras and shit. That's fucking cool. That's awesome. Oh, hey, yay for a girl Amber tonight. Back on the fucking decks at LDC Radio. Tonight. I don't know if she's on yet. What time's she on? Anybody know what time she's on? She's got General Bounce hanging out with her tonight. Yeah, Fantasia, Dreamscape, and Helter Skelter. Yeah, this was a big... This was a big festival, and it took place on this farmer's land. It was a huge sprawl of land. Because they actually talked to him in the documentary, and they offered him a whole pile of money to do it. And he's like, yeah, cool. Rock on. Fuck. I've heard of Dreamscape and Helter Skelter, but when I think of Fantasia, I think of like Jeremy Healy and them. Is it the same thing? I don't think it is. Unless every now and then the Fantasia parties played house. Because I've got a couple of mixes on my phone. I think they're called Fantasia All-Stars or something. Really cool. The Fantasia I'm thinking of is spelled with a Z. Fantasia. Are they two different things? I should know this, but... Helter Skelter. Vastly coming away from the point of the show tonight. Early on. What was I talking about? Fantasia got everyone raving, and the other two took it to new levels with a variety of genre. Oh, okay. Well, no, I can. Let me see. I got my phone right here. I'll just look it up. See, there we go. This one here is Fantasia with a Z, House Collection Volume 4, Jeremy Healy. So there's that one. And then, where's the other one? Oh. Fantasia, the House Collection 5, Tall Paul. So, there you go. And once again, so like I said, this is Fantasia with a Z. Is Fantasia with an S something different? Like, are they two different parties? Oh, they are the same. Oh, okay, cool. Oh. Oh, okay. Nah, they're the same. I just spelled it wrong. Okay. No worries. Okie dokie. You know, it's funny I even have a Jeremy Healy mix on my phone because I only recently found out about him. I didn't know who he was. I was like, who the fuck's this? And I found that mix completely by accident. I said, let me try this on. I'm like, okay. And I mean, no wonder he's under the same bracket as Tall Paul. They're cut from the same cloth. Tall Paul, of course, being one of the pioneers of the scene in the Uck guy. In the Uck. The Uck and Europe. Ah, Jesus Christ. Seeing this on the recording or here on SoundCloud, I will go back to the trials and tribulations of Meccano and Megalophobia and the experiences I had in the years following the actual event that created this in me. Or caused it, rather. It can't all be doom and gloom, for fuck's sake. It's not that this is doom and gloom or anything. Don't fucking come for me. That's not what I'm saying. Just, I don't feel like sitting here for 2 hours talking about negative shit. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, Fantasia, mainly old school. And then when Happy Hardcore and Jungle broke out from old school Dreamscape and Helter Skelter, those two genres to the next level. Ah, cool. Yeah. Well, it's funny you're saying that because the 40 minutes I grabbed from Fantasia today is unequivocally like it brought me back to like the CDs and the tapes that I used to have. I say I don't like breaks and jungle and all that kind of stuff, but when I listen to that stuff, I do. I fucking love it, and maybe it's because of how it was done. I don't know. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big advocate for not what you do, but how you do it. So, yeah, for sure. I will take UK Garage or Acid House, any of that stuff from the day, and I'll fucking love it all. And the Prodigy's earlier work was a great exercise in those styles, like Outer Space and all that stuff. Like, man, like I mean, the Prodigy were what? What the fuck were the Prodigy? Like 90s, late 90s? I fucking forget now. But yeah, Outer Space. I remember when Outer Space came out, the song. And if Outer Space isn't a hearkening back to UK Garage and Acid House, I don't, a perfect example, right? Yeah. And it's funny because, you don't like Garage? No? Well, see, once again, you know as well as everyone else does that my partying history is over there, so that's why I have such an affinity towards it. But I tell you, it's way more than the fucking jungle and D&B around now, or at least what followed it over here, right? From like what we were getting over here in North America back in those days, at least in my opinion. I was like, fuck, jungle and I've never liked jungle and D&B. Same with what is it? Oh, fuck me. The dubstep. Fucking hate dubstep. Which and now I got myself thinking. I can tolerate electro, but I really love dirty electro. Or like DJs from Mars and all this kind of stuff, like really dirty, heavy, guttural electro. I love it. Oh, incidentally, while we're here, where do I find this Stream Deck thing? Liquid, I don't know. Liquid D&B. I don't know what Liquid D&B is. I've never heard that phrase. Oh, D&B can get pretty guttural? Yeah. Okay. Wow. It's funny, I'm not, we're just hanging out tonight, talking about some stuff, going back and forth. Imagine someone made a D&B mix to play at a health spa. Ew! Ah! That kind of sounds like, that's kind of reminiscent of my description of progressive house. Because if I'm talking to someone who doesn't know anything about dance music, in my opinion, I say that progressive house is what you would hear in the waiting room if dance culture had a waiting room. Like, you know, that absolute shit music you hear at the doctor's office when you're waiting for your turn? Oh my fuck. Elevator music, yeah. It fucking... And speaking of that, you know what? If I said this in certain circles, I would probably... It would be to the gallows with me. But... And maybe this is because I was still exploring what I liked back then, but I remember when the Expander edit for Sasha and Digweed came out. I loved it. I really did. My girlfriend at the time went for like a day trip over to Halifax or Moncton or something, and she came back with that CD. And she's like, "Oh, did I do good?" Because she was a raver, but she didn't know, you know, she didn't really give a fuck either. I said, "Yeah, cool, no worries." But I mean, if I had the opportunity to get to buy that today, like, fuck that. Like, no, Sasha and Digweed, Darren Emerson, no. Steve Lawler, no. But I'm also a hypocrite because I listen to Danny Howard. I don't know. Sit in your car and listen to Top 40. Well, we're going to glaze over the fact that you just said house and rave in the same sentence, too. Yeah, if you go to a house rave, then you may as well sit back in your car and listen to Top fucking 40, says Ree. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Just in I'm talking to the listeners now. Just in certain instances, I don't mean to shit on one style of music over the other. I'm just really fucking picky. I truly am. Because like I just said, I don't like prog, but yet I listen to like Danny Howard on BBC Radio 1 and Judge Jules, and I used to listen to Annie Mac when she was there, like all these things, right? So I can hang with some of it. And I mean, even the New York people, DJ Lula, Frankie Knuckles, David Morales, all these guys. I'm not a complete fucking Nazi about house. I'm just really, I don't. Thinking back, I had your guys like Darren Emerson and them in my car in Ottawa, but now, and I still have those burns. But I wouldn't actively seek it out now. I really wouldn't. And I mean, even worse, I just talked about Jeremy Healy and Tall Paul. That's house. That's fucking house. Well, that's it, says Ree. I went to raves to hear music that I would never hear in the charts or in a normal club. Well, fucking exactly, right? And that's how we did it. Yeah. And we will eventually go back to the point of the evening, but this is kind of fun, so we'll stay here for a bit. Who's fucking... doing a bit of live admin work here, guys. Sorry, trying to suss out a couple of shows. As friends of the show know, me and the lovely Amber, DJ Amber D, do our Rave Memory Lane show. We haven't done one for quite some time. I forget where we are. I think we're episode 3 or something, whatever. The show is still fairly young, just due to timing and schedules and all that kind of shit. We were going to do another episode. We were talking late summer, coming into the fall, and we were going to do episode 3 or 4 wherever we are in it. And I said, okay, let's do it. Let's do it X weekend. And if I try and think of my schedule too far in advance, I get confused. And that's exactly what happened. Because come a week before the show, I said, oh fuck, I worked that day, or I was going into like work that night or something like that. So that was my fault. But me and Amber D have 2 shows coming up. One of which we're probably going to do this in a series, because this is going to take some work. But in the spirit of our show Rave Memory Lane, and if you don't follow Amber, go ahead and do it. DJ Amber _D here on Twitch, and if you're hearing it on here on SoundCloud. Yeah, go ahead and follow DJ Amber D if you don't. Raves have to feel illegal to be good. I see quote-unquote raves on YouTube nowadays, and they all look commercial to fuck. It used to feel tribal for me back in the day. Agreed. Everyone stomping in dimly lit rooms and just having it large. It looks very... quote, look at me in the crowd now. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I can kind of, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, right? Because I mean, any footage on YouTube isn't going to be what is true to life, right? For the sake of argument. Even going back to my parties back home, back on the east coast of Canada, even though we had our venues spotted around Charlottetown, the capital city of PEI, where I grew up, Prince Edward Island, the big parties were when the scene was first getting going, were actually at a venue called the Arts Guild, and it was actually an art gallery. It was an art space. But then we started getting places like this fucking pile of mush and mire called Frequency. Place was under the entryway to the washrooms in this fucking place were like meat cooler curtains, like the heavy vinyl see-through curtains. But yeah, no, for sure, yeah. What was I saying? Fuck, I'm losing track of myself all over the place. Oh yeah, Rave Memory Lane, me and Amber. Hasn't been for quite some time, just due to scheduling and life. So we're going to come back with that, with a house tribute. Probably be a series. So that'll be tunes and discussing those tunes and where they came from, why they're significant. Probably going to go way the fuck back with that, because there's, I mean, my Jesus. As cliche as it is, yes, house is the originator. Which is why this has to be a series, because there's a lot of different pockets of house to explore. And not to jump the gun on agenda or anything for the show, but one of them that I think is worth exploring is the Chicago house movement. All those guys, right? Southside Chicago, B96, WBMX, the Hot Mix 5, Chicago House, Bad Boy Bill, Too Cool Chris, Julian Perez, all these guys. and Angel Alanis, and fuck me, like Ghetto Blaster, Work It. What's the guy's name? George Roberts, I think. And like all the tracks that came out of Chicago back in the 80s, 90s. And just as a spoiler alert, if you don't know what Chicago House is, in its earlier forms, it heavily goes back to freestyle and Italo. And it's Bad Boy is one of the originators of it. And he's known for a really high cadence, almost, if you know what hardstyle is, out of the sensation parties in Amsterdam back then, Bad Boy's style was almost a happy hardstyle version, or happy hardstyle kind of vibe, to use that language. Again, high cadence bass lines, and you weren't hearing a track on any of his albums for more than 10 seconds. It was track, cut. And absolutely massive in the Chicago club scene. Massive. Under me the whole time has been, what is this? Oh, I mentioned Mayday Poland earlier. This is 2021 Mayday Poland from Ms. Eden, my girl Kirsten. I have been trying to nail her down. She will not stop touring. Shit. She is never not on tour, this one. Fuck. Shout out to Kirsten. Hey, sweetie, miss you. What was it? Oh, for fuck's sakes. That movie with Ryan Reynolds in the red suit. Deadpool. His girlfriend in the movie in one of the scenes looked at him and says, "Kiss me like you miss me." Sending that out to you, Kirsten. We miss you, girl. Miss you like the sickness. It's fucking funny. You blah 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 blah. Let's try that again. You guys have seen me do this before. I'm not a numbers whore or anything, but every now and then I got my browser open, not my OBS, and I'm looking down because I have my Winamp at the bottom of the screen, and my fucking viewer count is right there. And earlier I was watching this person literally come and go and come back in and go. I'm like, make a decision, cunt. Fuck. Here for the entire time when I was describing what happened to me in grade 2, and then poof, the son of a bitch goes away. Watch them come back, and turns out I know them. Well, this is ending. Let's try that. Where is it? What is it? Here we go. All right, this one's going out for you, Ray. This is Donington, or is it just Donnie? 1992.
But compared with 25,000 people that came, I think the whole event's gone very, very well.
Once again, pardon the sound. This is 100 years ago. What was with these MCs back then? Fantasia. Here we go. Donnie, 92. Everybody jumping. And then you start the rocket. Why? Were you telling me that these MCs still exist at UK raves? Oh, fuck that yesterday. Really? I don't get it. I don't understand why I don't get it. Because they had them at. I've heard them in the clips from Shelley's and Stoke too. I don't understand. And certain hardstyle parties. Just shut up and let the DJs do their job. You're not Flava Flav. Well, if that's their job, then fine. I can make concessions for that. But if they're just there to yell and scream nonsense with the music, then fuck off. I just don't get it. Like I have a hardstyle set from DJ Lady Donna, Dutch DJ producer. And all the Flava Flav in that mix is doing is talking about what she's playing. That's it. That's all this cunt is doing. I don't fucking get it. But isn't this so cool? This is fucking awesome. I love this. I mean, fuck the MC. This is so cool. Guys, tonight we are talking about irrational fears. Once again, we've kind of we've hit the shoulder of the road, so to speak, in the topic this evening. But no harm, no foul. Having some fun talking about music back in the day and shit. We're gonna get back to it soon. Just having some fun with tunes, guys. I got that. Yep. Yeah, I'll check that after. I'm gonna see if I can find some other tune. I'm gonna try again for the tunes I was looking for earlier. I don't even know who this is, but let's turn it up on Donington 1992. Nope. Not gonna fucking do it. Fuck. No worries, Ree.
But can't stop the bum rush.
Somebody scream! 1, 2, 3, let's go! We got lots of space, let's jump around! Everybody rushing, come on! I'll take you there! Go, 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 go! Aye, aye! Right back keeps you rocking, keeps you rushing to the top. Go! Come on! Go, go! Bring it on!
Well, oh, hang on. Oh my God. Right, so before I get too lost in alternative thought, to go back to what I was talking about earlier about being in proximity to furnaces and water heaters and so on and so forth, not to not to interrupt 1992 Donington Fantasia. But I'm only going to give this another hour or so, so I want to start driving right to the point. So yeah, proximity to furnaces, water heaters, machinery, etc., and so on. Like I was saying earlier, I noticed that more and more I was unable to come within any reasonable distance rather to a furnace or a water heater without going completely catatonic. It just fucking ruined me. I can in actuality barely stand the sight of these things. It's that deep seated. And once again, like I said at the top of the show, I am not, nor have I ever been officially diagnosed with any sort of mental health deficit, nor have I ever been diagnosed officially with megalo or mechanophobia. But once again, I know what I've experienced, right? And to the best of my research, these are the conclusions I've come to based on my experiences. Because your mind don't lie, right? So yeah. So on went the years, and like I said earlier, I noticed things happening more and more, and they weren't fucking going away. But what I did notice was, as much as the furnace fear began and remained, the megalophobia aspect of all this started to creep into my consciousness, so to speak. Why? I go back to the transport truck thing that I said earlier. I don't know why to this day that I can be as close to a transport truck during the day as my own microphone is to my face right now. Doesn't fucking bother me. Make it at night, and I will go into mental cardiac arrest, as I say, and I'll say it again. So yeah, can't do it. Dumpsters, like I said earlier. I'm just repeating myself now. What was interesting was one day back home in my hometown, me and the person I was with back then, we were coming from somewhere, and we were walking through these couple of streets, and there was a garbage, and this was like broad daylight, and we were coming around the corner, going up the street, and there was a garbage truck parked in front of this one pizzeria. And I wasn't paying much attention until I was paying attention. And I looked up and saw this thing, and it scared the Jesus out of me. I was startled. I was taken aback. We were we were about 20 feet away from this thing. And I had to stop and get my shit together. And then we just continued on our merry way. There were a few instances of special note from back in those days. I'll go to them in a second. To bring it to present day for a minute, I live in a 6-story apartment building, and we have garbage bins out back, recycling bins. 1 for compost, 2 for recycling, and 1 for garbage. And I am an individual who can't take the garbage out at night, even though that area is lit. I can't do it. Because I can't go near those bins without once again going into a full-blown panic attack. I can do it if somebody's with me, but I can't do it alone. I can't do it by myself. It'll ruin me. At work, here's the real crotch in the tree, or crotch in the branch rather. I work in supply chain, so I work in a manufacturing facility. Do you know what it's like to be in a factory when all the lights go out? Like when the power goes out, right? Like when it's not the fault of the where you work. I've been in the building we're in twice during a blackout. We have emergency lights that last about an hour. So if you have to go from the doors into the facility anywhere within reason, I guess, you have some semblance of light to walk around and see what the hell see where you're going. But once those emerge lights go off, the place is in complete darkness. It's complete black until the power comes back on. And I cannot be like if I mean, thank God my phone has a flashlight on it. And it's barely a consolation. But for me to be at work when the power goes out and then the emerge lights go off after that hour, I'm a fucking mental corpse. If I'm in the lunchroom, I'm fine. But if I have to get to the lunchroom from, like, say, the front of the building where the loading docks are, it's absolute murder for me. I can't look. Like, we have 2 main lines of production and forklifts all around the place and stuff that are just sitting there. Especially back where our maintenance guy is. And it's absolute hell for me to, like, if I'm going from we had a power outage one night, and me and my one operator were there, and we couldn't leave because we're not allowed to, because we don't have keys. And we went from the docks back to the lunchroom to sleep because we had no other alternative. And it was all I could do. It was all I had in me to get from the loading docks through the plant back to the fucking lunchroom with my sanity. It absolutely ruined me. Looking at our machines, right, in complete blackness, it was an absolute nightmare. It was terrifying. Every now and then, what happens is I have to do double duty, as we call it. So my position is at the back of the production lines, putting big mill rolls of paperboard onto the machines for sheeting. And on night shifts on the weekends, it's just we give the person who makes everything ready to ship. They're not there, so it's me and my operator sharing responsibilities. And if we're running an order for a certain client, those orders go straight onto a trailer for Monday morning. And this is after midnight in a well-lit facility. But those lights don't do anything for a trailer at a loading dock. Do you know how difficult it is to drive into a 53-foot trailer with your head down on a forklift? So I put my head down, I drive into this bloody thing, I drop the skid in the trailer, and I burn it in reverse to get the fuck out of the thing. And that's being inside it. We have an outdoor with a ramp to go outside and stuff on our lifts if we need to change our tanks or something. If there's trailers parked at our docks at night, I don't go outside. I can't. I go down by our balers because our balers are by our main our outside door. I'll pull up to our balers and then I'll take my tank off my lift there and take my tank out where we punch out. Because I can't. It consumes me. All right? It's absolute madness. It's fucking wild. So if I'm on a night shift at work with me and my operator, and we end up running an order for this one customer of ours, it doesn't always happen, but when it does, I deal with it. But I think to myself, for fuck's sakes, because I know those skids are going to be going. I know those finished skids are going to be going into a trailer. And I can't describe. I can't make it make sense to anybody if I were to describe it. What my mind sees when I'm sitting there on my forklift and looking at the door of a loading dock with a trailer backed up to it, and it's just an open box, right? I can't explain where my mind goes with that visual and make it make sense to anybody. But for me, it's absolutely horrifying. Megalophobia.
Come on.
And even that, during a blackout, if we're at work, like I said, there's no lights anywhere, because after that first hour, our emerge lights go off, right? So it's all up to the city to get everything back up and going, and that can take God knows how long. I can't even go into the women's room. It's just too fucked up for me. Because there's lockers in there and stuff, and it's just too much. Maybe it's just the creep factor. But and it's no use having the door open, even because there's no one there, right? So I could prop the door open with a chair if I so chose, but it's not going to do anything because there's no light from the floor coming into the door if I open it. It's an absolute horror scene for me. I'm not scared of the dark. That's not what I'm driving at. That's totally different, right? That's the boogeyman theory, if you will. So, right or wrong, during a blackout and I'm at work, I did this during the last one we had. It was, It was 3 a.m. My operator was somewhere sleeping, and I had to go, right? I had to pee. We have, the front of our property is covered by a lot of shrubbery and heavy shrubbery and trees and whatnot along the property line. So, as dimly lit as the street was, it was more so than inside our building. So, I went outside and did my thing. Because I did not have the wherewithal to go to the ladies' room. Wasn't going to work. They call them pylons in Europe. These big power towers, right? These big structures that carry the all the cables and stuff, the electric cables that lead into big cities for the power grid. There's 2 areas where I have to encounter these if I'm on my bike coming to or from work. And I can't stand the sight of these fucking things. In one area, because of they're coming into Toronto from the outskirts. Toronto, Canada. For those that don't know, I'm broadcasting from Canada. So they're coming in from the east side of the city, right? All the way through, blah, blah, blah. And there's this one street where it's actually my street on the top end of it, where the wires are going overhead, and they've got one of these towers literally right next to the sidewalk. And then across the street, the convoy of them continues wherever they end up. But literally right across the street, again, next to the sidewalk, is the next one. And these things are like a couple 100 feet tall. I can't do it. I can't look at these things. I ride through there on my bike. My head is down. I have no choice. Because if I don't, these things are coming down around me, right? And for the listeners, I'm making a hug formation with my arms. Absolutely murders me. Going back to my hometown, me and who I will refer to as Head Witch, we're out one evening. I forget, I don't know what day of the week it was. All I know was, all I remember was it was after dark. Could have been a weeknight, could have been a weekend, I don't remember. We were just out and about doing our thing. And we were walking through the property of our high school from the neighborhood I lived in, because I used to live close to my high school, our high school, I should say. And at the end of the property closest to my neighborhood was where the football field was, just next to the track and field track. And so we're walking along, doing our thing, chit-chatting, whatever. I don't remember where we were coming from, and I don't remember where we were going. All I know is we were there. So we're walking through the football field, chit-chatting and stuff, having our night. And I was engaged in something she was saying, and then for some reason I just happened to look up to my right. I looked up to my right-hand side, and right there, we were like 10 feet away from the football uprights. And immediately, I dropped into the fetal position. Now this is where it's going to get fun. So this is high school. I don't know. It doesn't matter how old I was. Because I mentioned earlier in the show that I started noticing these things in my late teens. So I drop into a fetal position after seeing this monolith of a structure next to me. Remember how I mentioned the thing about being nonverbal earlier? That's what happened. So I dropped down, my eyes are closed, and I plugged my left ear. And again, I was nonverbal. She's yelling my name. She's like inches away from me. She's yelling my name. I wasn't responding because I was too scared to talk. I'll read that in a second, Ree. So I'm there in the fetal position. I'm in a crouch position with my left ear closed, and my girlfriend is screaming at me to get my attention. After a few minutes, I come out of it, and she helps me stand back up. She knew what happened because she was aware of it. She says, if it ever happens that bad again, just run, and I'll find you. There's another incident, but hang on here. What is Ria's asking me? What is it about machines for me? It's not all machines, I guess, as you wouldn't be able to work in a factory with the machines you use in your line. Well, no, that's the thing. Did you hear my story about the blackout, the power being off at work? I don't know why, but time of day has a lot to do with this. I can do anything I want at work during the day and even at night when all the lights are on and it looks like daytime. That's one thing I don't understand about this. I truly don't. Because I can be around a big lorry all day or a big truck, right? I'm using international language here. I can lay underneath a transport truck during the day, and it wouldn't faze me. But you're not going to get me within 5 feet of that fucker at night. Nor a machine. I can't be where I work at night in a blackout. It ruins me. And I don't know why the day and night factor is a factor. I really don't. I'd love to find out. There was another incident one night. We were coming up through our junior high, right in the middle of town. And the way the property was designed, there was one street, our school, and then another street. And on this one street, they were both north-south streets. And at that time, our junior high was comprised of 3 buildings. The main building, what was referred to as the Summer Street building, because it was on Summer Street. That was where all our shop classes were and stuff. And then the auditorium, that was on another side street, but right, whatever. Between the auditorium and the Summer Street building, there was like just a gap on the property between the buildings that you could walk through. That's what we were doing this one night. We were just cutting through on our way to her place. We walked through the space between the buildings. And it was a big space. You could put like 2 or 3 cars in there. It was a big space.
Happy birthday!
We come into view of the main parking lot of the school. And some transport driver decided to pull into the parking lot and park his rig for the night to get some sleep.
So we're gonna spin you one more and say goodnight.
Again, I was paying attention to not my surroundings, but what she was saying. And so I didn't notice the truck until I looked up. And I saw this fucking thing parked at the top of the parking lot, and right in the line of where we were walking. And I froze.
Everybody is here reporting this because this is
hang on.
Fantasia's took you one step beyond. Now listen, this next one's coming out on our new EP that's going to be around in about 4 weeks' time. There's 4 different tracks on it. This is one of the tracks. Check this out. Now here comes a false start.
Shut up. So yeah, there we are coming through the parking lot. And I look up and see this truck. I fucking froze. It wasn't the football upright scenario, but still, because I was far enough away to keep my composure. So I froze in place. Now, luckily, because of where she lived and where we were, all we had to do, she looked at me, she looked up at me and she went, "We're not doing this, are we?" I'm like, "Nope." I was able to speak because I wasn't close enough to the truck to go nonverbal. So, happily, she said, "Okay, let's go up Summer Street and reroute ourselves down Skierman Avenue." And that's what we did. Have I ever sought therapy for this? No. I haven't sought therapy for anything. Even though I probably should. I live my life as a trans woman with zero therapy. So, if I can do that, I don't need therapy for this. But be that as it may, here I sit as a undiagnosed megalo and phobiac with 20 years of stories to tell for it to prove it. We had an incident a couple of weeks ago at work. I was just coming on to shift for the day shift, and we have a compactor at work that we can and on the inside of it's the bin outside that you see, right? But inside, this fucking thing is big enough from our floor to drive into with a forklift, and I do it all the time. The guy from the sanitation company that comes and switches out our bins showed up one morning to switch out the bins, and because some idiot didn't know how to operate the compactor, there ended up all this shit on the ground outside that kind of fell between the bin and where the barrier in the compactor was, and it was this big pile of fucking shit that our guy the kid that makes everything ready to ship was trying to deal with, right? So you got a guy out there with fucking Miller Sanitation trying to help this poor kid fix this whole thing. Nice guy. But I'm setting up my morning. I'm bringing skids of recycling over to where they should be. And he says, "Oh, can you come help me outside?" So I get off my lift and he says, "Oh, take your lift." The sun's not up yet. This is 6 in the morning. I didn't realize what he wanted me to do until I got there. And the whole point of the story is he wasn't skilled enough at driving a forklift to get himself out of the situation that he had gotten himself in. Which is kind of funny. But anyway, he's a good driver, but just, he's not me. So I go out, and all of a sudden I realize where I have to drive into. My saving grace is the guy from the sanitation company. The guy from the sanitation company was there with me and talking to me and making eye contact. Because it's dark out, and I'm outside, and I'm right in front of our compactor. This big metal fucking purple. I think it's purple. Metal fucking object. Trying to help my young coworker to rectify this situation. Turned out to be a simple fix because I'm from the east coast of Canada and I know how to drive. But if the guy from Miller Sanitation hadn't been there, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened in that situation if I had even entertained the idea of going outside, knowing that I had to be in such close proximity to our compactor. So luckily I had the guy from Miller as a distraction, and we were talking shit and joking and stuff and whatever, and I helped. My coworker's forklift was stuck. And I got it unstuck for him. But, yeah. Megalophobia, fear of large objects. Mechanophobia, fear of machines. And I arguably have both of those conditions, even though I've never been diagnosed officially with either one of them. Only at night, exactly. Yep. Only at night. I'd love to find out why that is. Yeah, it's funny. Well, I guess it's no secret that trauma can be situational, right? But what I would love to know is why does, like, how did being taken, how did a massive bang in the furnace room of my elementary school in grade 2 result in these things, or play the role as the cause of these things in present day? Where the fuck does that come from? I heard a noise, for all intents and purposes, and all of a sudden I'm scared of power pylons, I'm scared of garbage dumpsters, I'm scared of big rigs like 18-wheelers, like transport trucks. What the fuck is this? And why? And why can I face these things during the day but not at night? Why can't I take my garbage out at night? Fuck, I wish there was more than one person in here. Other people might have questions. Fuck, I'd love to have a show where I have more than 3 people to talk to. Make no mistake, my pretties, I am on a mission here at the Klayre Avalon show to actively turn 200 followers into 200 active listeners. I don't know how to do that, but by fuck, I'm gonna learn. What do my listeners want? What do my viewers want? Sometimes I want to, sometimes in my heart, no, I don't like horror. No, I never did. No, not my jam. And it's not even that it's scary. I just never liked it. Just not my thing. If you're watching this on the VOD, or if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, 2 things. By all means, DM me on Discord if you're not in the Discord. Or if you are in the Discord, rather. Or DM me on Twitch or something. Find me. I'm easy to find. And if you're listening here on SoundCloud, get yourself a fucking Twitch account, for God's sake. The live experience is always better. Sit here, you can, and if you do create yourself a Twitch account and follow the channel and take part in the live chat, you can also, if you so choose, create yourself a Discord account and take part in the show. Because I quite often open my my voice and video channels for the show, and people pop on at their leisure and take part in the show. It's quite fun. Quite fun when I open the Discord. What am I talking about? My show is always fun, for fuck's sakes. Because what am I? I'm Mama Klayre, bitch. I'm also bored. Oh no, clowns! Yeah, I told my story, and you know what? I really wish there would have been more people tonight, but everyone's probably listening to Amber over on LDC. Shout out to Amber D over on LDC Radio. Text LDC Radio. Start your text with whatever the fuck the number is. I forget the number. I know the slogan, but I forget the number. She's on air. If you don't follow LDC Radio, follow them. Come on. So I'm going to end it here, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching this on the recording when I get it there, or here on SoundCloud, I do appreciate you for letting me blow off some steam. I don't talk about this in public very much. Actually, this is my first time talking about this on such a in such a setting, because it's not something I enjoy talking about. These are stupid fears. These are irrational fears. This is fucking stupid. Like, why am I scared of furnaces? Why am I scared of power? Why am I scared of power grids? Fuck. But rest assured, it doesn't plague my life, or rather, it's not a plague on my life, I should say. It's funny because when I think of years ago, when I was in my early 20s, I guess, and I took a driving course to become a driver for big trucks. What the fuck was I thinking? If I had ended up being a long haul driver, that's day driving, that's night driving, that's this, that, everything, blah blah blah, right? Fuck, I would have lost any job before I even had the opportunity to apply for it. Fucking hell. But I do appreciate everyone who will hear and see this on the recordings. I'm live all weekend, guys, and tomorrow will be a happier show. I'm off all weekend, and I'll be here all weekend. What am I going to talk about tomorrow? I have no fucking idea. But I do appreciate you all. Regardless, if you follow me here on SoundCloud, once again, consider coming over to Twitch. Oh, I don't know what Twitch is. Well, did you know what any apps were before you had a smartphone? It's free, motherfucker. Yeah, in closing, Rhea is saying only me and a pretty good therapist can truly answer the questions on my phobias. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, the time factors, like the day and night thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I didn't record tonight's show because for some reason I didn't record it intentionally, because every time I hit record, at some point I get an error message about recording, so I didn't do it tonight. Yeah, they would ask the right questions. Yeah, for sure. Maybe one day I'll get those answers. But for now, guys, that's it. It's 10 to 7 in Toronto on a Friday night, Novembrance. Novembrance Day, because I call it Novembrance Day. Remembrance Day, if you acknowledge it. Paying homage to our people that have served and do serve. Tip our caps to them. But anyway, that's it, guys. I'm gonna go see what's going on Discord with Amber and the kids. We'll see you tomorrow.